Regardless of your politics, Mr. Speaker, everyone in this House owes a debt of gratitude to the Prime Minister on foreign affairs. Mr. Speaker, I will turn now to the specifics of the G7 summit. Let me start with Ukraine. Mr. Speaker, once again, Russia chose to launch a huge attack on Ukraine on the eve of an international summit. In a show of their disdain for diplomacy, they killed innocent civilians in Kyiv and Kharkiv and hit the 11th century Pechesk-Livrav, a sacred site at the very heart of Ukrainian culture. And, Mr. Speaker, Russia should note the level of unity shown on this point and the G7's pledge of unwavering support for Ukraine. That will continue until we reach a just and lasting peace. The G7 agreed to work together in support of their process and strengthen the Lebanese government so that they can regain the monopoly on the use of force in the country. And, Mr. Speaker, on Palestine, I want to speak very frankly. Israel must stop blocking aid into Gaza. It must stop settlement expansion in the E1 area of East Jerusalem, which threatens the very viability of the two-state solution, and stop settler violence across the West Bank.
And he is right, Mr. Speaker, when he says everyone in this House owes a debt to the Prime Minister, but it is most certainly not a debt of gratitude. It's the other type of debt that we owe. So the Right Honourable Gentleman has come to the House to update us on a meeting he did not attend. He stood in for the Prime Minister at PMQs during the G7. Now he is standing in again to tell us what happened at the G7. Where is the Prime Minister? Where is the Prime Minister? He says he needs to stay in post for 3 months, but then doesn't come to Parliament to do his job. He wants to go on a farewell tour, while the new member for Makerfield is asking for a summer holiday to work out what he thinks. In the meantime, no one is in charge, and Britain is not being governed. The Prime Minister gave assurances at the G7 about military support to Ukraine. He gave those assurances after the Defence Secretary resigned because he was being forced to make decisions that would increase the risk to our armed forces. The Prime Minister gave assurances about sanctions on Russian oil and gas, while here the government was lifting those sanctions. He is saying one thing abroad, Mr. Speaker, but doing the opposite at home. And these are just some of the many reasons he had to resign this morning, but apparently, for some mysterious reason, he must stick around until September. Given the Prime Minister has resigned, why is he hanging around? The Deputy Prime Minister had to change his statement so that we all knew that the EU Reset Summit has been postponed. That's not happening anymore. So what's he hanging around for? Why are we sending a non-Prime Minister to the most important NATO summit in a generation? Why? It is because this psychodrama is about the Labour Party, not the country. The member for Makerfield is not here, because he is more interested in his leadership bid than Britain's national security. 2 weeks ago, the Defence Secretary and Armed Forces Minister as well quit the government because Labour's failure to fund defence is putting our national security at risk. This will not disappear from the member for Makerfield's in tray just because he won a by-election. If he becomes Prime Minister, he will be briefed by the heads of our military about Britain's reducing ability to defend herself, let alone Ukraine, as the Deputy Prime Minister said. In order to fund defence, we need more money, not more speeches at summits. He will find that Britain is not able to borrow any more money. He will find that it has all been spent on welfare. He will realise that this government is providing export finance to rebuild Ukraine's energy system while crippling our own, reducing sanctions on Russian oil while sanctioning oil from Aberdeen. Only one thing matters at the G7 and NATO summits, Mr. Speaker, and that is our collective national security. The Minister is chuntering. Can he say anything about why the Defence Secretary resigned? If they're all living in la-la land, I'm going to wake them up. I'm going to wake them up to stop pretending that everything is fine, because it is not. Let me remind him, Mr. Speaker, that the Prime Minister is resigning because he failed on national security. He appointed a known security risk as our ambassador to Washington. He is destroying our energy security, which is national security, and he is refusing to fund the defence investment plan needed to keep our country safe. The G7 summit reminds us, Mr. Speaker, that we are living in serious times, yet the government is paralysed and our country is in limbo. It is time for Labour to start putting country before party and to put Britain's national interest first.